5, South Carolina. Did a 38-year-old hubby set his wife on fire and then claim it was all just a barbecue accident?
Not her face, Lord, not her face.
Police say a husband who doused his wife with gasoline and set her on fire is blaming the whole thing on a grill accident when the grill was cold.
I can't imagine anybody pouring gasoline on someone and setting them on fire.
Year-old husband set his wife on fire, then claiming it was all just a simple barbecue accident?
She called me and she said it finally happened.
A South Carolina man claims an accident with the grill set his wife on fire, but police say it was actually the husband who doused his wife with gasoline and set her ablaze.
Katie is fighting to survive in a Georgia hospital. Third-degree burns cover more than 70% of her body.
With me right now, special guest Dan and Ruby Cook, the parents of Katie Cook. Reports are 50 to 70% of Katie's body has been burned. Dan and Ruby, thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
You know, I noticed something that you said. You said it finally happened. What did you mean by that?
Well, you know, I had been very, suspect of this domestic issue with Katie's husband, and I had not had any idea of the extent of the violence that was going on. My wife did, and we had talked about this for a number of times over the past few years. And so that's exactly what I said. As Ruby had called me that morning, she was on her way to work, and she just said it finally happened, and I knew exactly what she was talking about.
I'm just sick. How is Katie tonight?
Right now, she just got out of her, I believe it's her 15th surgery, and they continue to fight infection. That's a big thing when you have burns this large. She's on kidney dialysis to help support her kidneys. She has a tracheotomy. They continue to watch her lungs. Blood clots are also a very, very big issue. Her heart has been strong, and that's been one of the biggest things that's why she survived, is because of her age and also the strength of her heart.
I had no idea that so many of her organs were affected by this. You said dialysis, tracheotomy, lungs, blood clots. I think I heard Ruby. This is Katie's mom. Ruby, was that you, Ms. Cook?
Yes, and I just want to make it clear, we have not been able to talk to her. She's been sedated for a month. She will come out of it a little bit, and she will nod, so she has been aware that we have been there with her. But she's been sedated for a whole month.
Everyone, Don and Ruby Cook are with us, and now that I hear them describing what has happened to their daughter, Katie Cook, third-degree burns over about 70% of her body. She's on dialysis. She's having to use a trach. Her lungs are impaired, blood clots, and they are fighting infections. And if I heard correctly, she's just had her 15th surgery as a result of this guy, according to police, setting her on fire, at our reports, as she lay in the bed, then telling police it was a barbecue mishap. And speaking of police, joining me right now, Deputy Jimmy Watt, PIO of the Oconee County Sheriff's Office. Deputy, what happened?
Well, Nancy, back on the evening of May 16th, our 911 office received a call regarding a house fire with a female trapped inside. Where the fire occurred was an area near Seneca, South Carolina, was referred to as the Utica Millville. This area was an area where an old textile plant was open at one time that has closed down several years ago. So our officers, fire department, medical personnel, paramedics, all responded to the scene. When those officials got on the scene, Nancy, they found a female, according to our incident reports, who was lying lying on a porch of a neighbor and had burns on her body, as you mentioned before. Katie was able to tell our deputy and tell other officials there on the scene that her husband had did this to her, but she didn't know why or couldn't tell us why. And it was actually Mr. Droutning through some spontaneous utterances who made comments to us concerning the barbecue grill and trying to set that grill on fire with gasoline and the fact that the grill exploded. But as our investigation went on, evidence from inside the home, evidence that we received from Katie telling us things that Mr. Droutning had did this to her allegedly, and the fact that Mr. Droutning didn't have any visible injuries, we were able to arrest him on attempted murder charges.
That's a really good point, Deputy Watt. With me, Deputy Jimmy Watt from Walhalla. Deputy, your people went and touched the grill. It was cool. It was cold to the touch. And if the grill had blown up while he was barbecuing, he would have at least had singed hair. And what about the state of her bed? Is it true that he set her on fire as she lay in bed?
Now, that's one thing, Nancy, that I was not aware of, to be honest with you. So I can't comment on that because
I guarantee you there'll be evidence there as well. Joey Hudson joining us, WGTK. Has this guy been arrested before, Joey?
Well, Nancy, yes, there's evidence that they've had a rocky relationship for a number of years now. If you look back in August of 2009, you see from Minnesota court records where there was a 911 called by Katie Cook saying, help me, my husband has a gun on top of me, help me. And then the phone call was disconnected. A few moments later, Jacob called 911 and said that his wife were involved in a verbal argument and that she was drunk and that there wasn't a problem.
You know what? I don't believe a thing this guy says. Look at this record. Ridiculous. To Dr. Michelle Dupree, medical examiner, forensic pathologist, I know you just heard Dan and Ruby Cook outline their daughter's injuries. Why do severe burns result in, for instance, having to be on dialysis and injuries to the lungs and possible blood clots?
Nancy, one of the biggest things is our skin is the largest organ in our body. And when that is affected, all other parts of the body are also affected. Hydration, of course, is important, but infection is the key thing. And when we get infected, our kidneys process all of that. The kidneys are working more than double time now, as are her lungs and many other bodily organs.
To Dan and Ruby Cook, these are Katie's parents. What is your understanding of what happened? And I know it doesn't matter why, but what set him off this time? And do you have information like we do that she was actually lying in bed when this happened?
No, we don't have any more information than what we've been given by the police. And as far as, what happened at that house that particular night, so no, we know that...
I know that he was depressed prior because he was fired from his job. And he actually called me 3 weeks before he did this horrible thing. And I thought I was talking to a depressed man who lost his job. I didn't realize what was going on. When he called, the first thing I asked is, everybody okay? Are you guys okay? Because I was dreading the moment that something was going to happen. And he just went on and on about, tell me what to do. And I thought he was talking about his job. And then at the end of the conversation, he said, you know what? I love her just as much as you do. And then 3 weeks later, he did this. Dan
and Ruby Cook, our prayers are going out to you and for Katie tonight. I know you haven't been able to talk to her, but has she seen you? Does she know you're there?
We don't know. We know from talking to the nurses that they told us that she recognizes and she hears our voices. They say that her long-term and short-term memory is going to be, it's all in question as far as what she'll remember and what she won't remember. But, and are spending as much time as we can with her. We're going to head back down to Augusta tomorrow and do whatever we can do to help